Message here says, hello sisters, I'm in utter shock as I send this message. I recently found out that basically the most absurd thing ever. I've been married to my husband for 3 years and I'm 7 months pregnant. He's a businessman, I'm a nurse. My brother-in-law lives with us because he schools in Accra while their parents live in Kumasi. Last week, I wasn't feeling too well, so I decided to come home early, around 4 p.m. to get some rest. When I entered the living room, I could hear loud music from my brother-in-law's room. I decided to go tell him to turn the volume down as he was disturbing and it was evening. Sisters, I received the shock of my life. My husband was having sex with his own younger brother. I screamed, Jesus Christ. Immediately, my legs became weak. I was shattered. I just could not believe my eyes. When my husband saw me, he quickly got up and started begging for forgiveness. After further confrontation, I found out that they used to be sexually involved when they were really young, and their parents took them to a pastor for deliverance. They stopped afterwards, but it seems to have started again. His parents have come to plead with me to forgive their son and not tell anyone about it. I respect his parents a lot, but I can't just understand why a man will sleep with his own brother. How is this possible, sisters? I have been restless since then. Should I leave this marriage? What about our unborn child? Rosina, I'm going to throw this one to you to deal with.
This is too much.
Heavy.
This is really heavy. Very, very heavy.
Are you there, Rosie?
Sad.
Okay.
I mean, what could you do? I mean, so you've been living with this person for 3 years, and if you see two brothers hanging out, chatting and laughing, nothing would occur to you that there's something horrible going on. I'm surprised she didn't lose the baby on sight. Because even if it was a man and even a friend that you trust, or maybe a friend that you thought was a family friend, you see the way it would hit? But to have that kind of, and you know what? I don't get it. So if his parents were aware, why are the two brothers, knowing that there's a history, why were the two brothers made to stay in the same house?
I mean, they say he's going to school in Accra, parents are in Kumasi, kind of thing. No other place but to live with family.
Yeah, to live with, but can't you rent a place for him? Can't you get somewhere so he can stay on his own and do? You see, I honestly don't know what to do. Because I don't, what word is this called? Like the act, what is it called?
Sodomy?
Yeah, like sort of like your own incest. That's
and
what
incest,
I mean.
okay.
Yeah, and incest, like your own brother. I mean, it's so difficult to deal with. And there's going to be trust issues in the house from now on. Now, she's going to question every time that she's seen them together, laughing, happy. Maybe anytime the man walked out from the brother's room, so hold on, did you just go and do another one? I mean, the questions, the interrogations, they are going to go on. And if it's something that happened when they were children and they took them for deliverance, they should have taken them for psychotherapy when they were kids, not for deliverance. Do you understand? Because some of these things, you don't know why they are doing this. I'm not even talking about the fact that, it's two men. I'm talking about the fact that it's your brother. Let's put that conversation aside. Why would you want to have sexual relations with your sibling? It's morally wrong.
Yeah.
It is not right. You see, it is not right to have sexual intimacy with your sibling. Now, so if you see that happening, the parents, why don't you take them for proper therapy? And I'm sure because they didn't have proper therapy, and normally what deliverance does is that sometimes, aside the whole hey baba, they tend to put a lot of fear in you. If you do this, you are going to hell. If you do this, you are doing this. So if they come back and they try it again, and they realize that actually, it's been 15 years, so they said we're going to go to hell. You still haven't gotten to hell. Then it becomes normal. But when you go for psychotherapy, and maybe they try and go into your cognitive to decipher why you will think that your sibling is a good sexual intimate partner, then maybe this would have been corrected from birth. But as it is now, he didn't send in the messages, the woman.
Right.
This is heavy.
It is.
You need to ask yourself a lot of questions. And I think that you yourself need to go for some form of therapy. You need to offload this information to a professional who would listen to you and then give you guidance as to what you do, depending on the kind of person you are, your health, the state of your health, your love language, your temperament, and all of that. Because all of that matters into how you're going to deal with this. Whether it's something you can forgive is also another thing. Whether it's something you want to live with, knowing that it could happen anytime, any day. If these things started happening when they were children, and this is the brother, you can't say he should unbrother him. Unlike an ex that you can say that, I don't want this ex in your life, This brother is family meetings, he is there. Maybe he was even the best man for your wedding, you don't even know. You understand? Yeah. So all I'm saying is that you can't ask your husband to unbrother him. He's a brother. There's nothing you can do about it. So all I'll say is that weigh the options and know what to do. And the child, like we all keep saying that sometimes children don't ask for some of these things, but there's a very good reason why you were gifted that child by being pregnant. So if the child is, you can look after the child, take care of the child, even if you were to be single. I think that 7 months is way too far to think of terminating the child, because at 7 months, if you give birth to the child right now, the child will live. So that's a full human being you're actually killing. It's not just the initial stages. So in my opinion, once the pregnancy has gone for 7 months, I beg you, don't touch the pregnancy, because normally when you touch pregnancy at that stage, if there are medical complications, they tend to be very serious.
Right.
Even though you may have a successful one, but they tend to be serious. So please don't touch the baby. Have the baby if you can take care of the baby. See a psychologist to help you deal through this process, because I don't think that any of us here is qualified to give you the step-by-step things, because this is horrid. I can't imagine, what I would do if I saw something like this.
Probably collapse. Probably collapse. Yeah.
I'll collapse, probably run out, probably not, I don't know. The fact that she even stayed there to interrogate her, she's strong. True.
Yeah. Okay, Gail, let me come to you.
You always do this to me.
Yeah.
Always. I think the guy's gay. That's what I think.
Yeah, maybe secretly and
yes.
married her just to cover up.
For me, I don't have a problem if someone is gay. That's their choice. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and judge someone for their sexual preference. That's his business. But what I don't like is when people have to, because of society and religion and all of that, they have to hide in the closet and then use an innocent person, to cover up their acts. So first of all, they don't have a marriage. It began on a whole lie. She's been married to herself. It's a big lie, because I know a lot of gay people who, because of the stigma and all of that, they are forced to marry and buy into what society, says is the accepted norm, man to, woman kind of thing. But whether we like it or not, there are people who have their different sexual preferences. We have people who are transgenders and whatnot. Everybody is free to do whatever they want to do, as long as you're an adult and you are doing it in your bedroom. I don't think people should attack people for that. So the mistake he did, first of all, was to marry her knowing that he's not a straight man. That was a mistake he did, because he put an innocent person in that setting. No, she wanted to be with a straight guy, so she's bought into that, she's committed to that. And you were, in a different space, and she didn't know about that. So that's a whole lie. So how can you call that a marriage?
Right.
So first off, I don't think you have a marriage. So for me, you don't even have to be there. You can't deal with that. And then secondly, you have to deal with the cheating. He was cheating on you, whoever it is, with whoever is besides the point. But he was cheating. You have to deal with that. Trust has been broken. And then there's incest involved. And it's not even with a woman. It's with a man.
And your own brother.
And then your brother. So there's incest and all of that. You can't tell me you still want to be in there. You can't tell me that. No, because obviously, if they said they prayed for them, now that's where I come in with the religious thing. Because if the prayer alone is supposed to take care of everything in this world, then whatever they did to them should have ended. But I don't think they stopped.
Right.
I
Probably
think
put
they've
them
been
in hiding.
doing it for a long time until she caught them. And why should his parents come in to beg? Don't tell anybody. Every time they do that, somebody is suffering mentally. And you say, they always care about what someone thinks. So they knew that. They hid it from her, and it's like they'll set her up and use her. That's not cool. So for me, I don't think she should be in there. She should just move away from that environment, keep her baby. The father can be responsible for the kid without having to be with you.
Right.
He can still be responsible.
Right.
Then to handle his issue, he has to deal with his brother and sort out their issue. Because if he wants to be gay, I don't think he should be with his brother.
Right.
There's something that went on when they were kids. Nobody knows. He could have been abused, or something. And so sometimes that's how you by even another man or something. So then my brother is there. Let me try it on him. Or they were doing this mamini papa thing, and then it escalated into that. So that thing is there. So if he wants to deal with that, that's his problem about separating from his brother. And then if he feels he's a gay guy, he should just own it. Because at least when you're bi, you know that if I'm with a woman, I'm with a woman. If I'm with a guy, I'm with a guy. But obviously, I see him to be a gay guy. Like, he's not even bi. He's like totally gay. So he should deal with that.
Okay.
You see, that's what I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Olivia, I mean, what do you think? Gail thinks he's just gay.
That's what I think.
Covering up.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Okay.
He's gay. He's definitely gay, and it's going to be difficult for anybody to sort of take him out of the habits that he's built over time. And I mean, he's been in intimate sessions with his brother for God knows how long. We all don't know when it started, but clearly it started years ago. And the parents were very desperate. They didn't know what to do. So the immediate thing they think about is, pray for me, and their children need deliverance. But that's the thing. See, I always say that, you see, there's nothing wrong with prayer. There's nothing wrong with deliverance. What do you do after? Okay, if yes, you've gone for deliverance, did they decide to go to the hospital to give them therapy? What did the parents do to ensure that the two brothers don't go back doing the same thing? You can't just go for deliverance and say, okay, that's it. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with prayer for me, and there's nothing wrong with deliverance. You need to do other things as well to be able to, use your common sense as well. God gave all of us wisdom, so shall I use it? Don't this whole pray for me thing. I don't know. I believe in praying myself and sorting things out myself as well. But then again, there are rare occasions or peculiar situations. But moving on from that point, these stories are real. Okay, if I in times like this, I wish I was in the studio with Rosie and Tina and like all of you, because the next thing I'm going to say is I actually know.
Well, do you?
I do.
Wow.
I do. I kid you not. So I kid you not.
Yes, can you permit me to laugh?
Go ahead and laugh.
So same story, believe it or not. His wife came home to the same incident. Okay, she was livid. She told the guy, got the family involved, told the guy that, Charlie, today should be the first and last time this is ever going to happen. And she was so upset. Called family and they spoke to this guy. Okay, recently even Happy met the guy, and the guy that he was cheating, not the married guy, the other guy.
Right.
And the guy was complaining that, oh, Charlie, I've been calling this guy. He doesn't pick my calls up, or I don't know what I've done to him.
Really?
I haven't knew why he wasn't picking the calls, but he didn't say anything. And we kind of laughed about it, but that's just by the by. But for me, I'm Aleko son. Touch wood, God forbid, I will not stay in a marriage like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will not stay in a marriage like that because I don't see where it's going. Not only do you have to deal with the fact that, women as it is, we're jealous of other women. Now men out there. When this guy goes to work, it's other men. So if he's not doing it with his brother and another man decides to tempt him, what's going to happen? As long as it's he's gay. So even if he didn't cheat on you with his brother, he would have decided to cheat on you with somebody else, and it could have been in a hotel. He would have cheated on you with the brother in a hotel.
Assuming that hasn't already happened.
Exactly. So like everything is like a messed up situation. Yeah. Clearly deliverance didn't work. Clearly I don't know what kind of mental thing is going to help, but the parents know. That's a sad thing. The parents knew about it, and so they're living a life.
But they prayed about it. They delivered him from the forces of darkness.
They delivered him, but you see, that's the thing. It's not enough. You see, it's good to pray, but it's not enough. Do other things. After deliverance, go and check. Go to the hospital and make sure that, Charlie, after the deliverance, give me proof that, yes, the deliverance is working. Okay? And live a righteous life. Do all the things that you need to do to live a righteous life, so that you don't worsen the situation, open up yourself for all sorts of things to get into you, and you worsen the situation. As much as you should pray, you should also use common sense. That's what I think. So, sweetheart, honestly, I mean, be out of that relationship. I don't think that you should be married to this guy. I don't think it's worth it. If you don't have a forgiving heart. This other story I was telling you about, the guy stopped because he genuinely repented. But this guy, he's been there and come back home, and now it's his brother. And the good thing is that at least you caught him now. Can you imagine that you had grown up in this marriage, had your children, and had a son? How many years down the line, this same brother will be calling your son to come and sit on my lap? So, what would have happened? Me, I'm thinking about the bigger picture. Charlie, it would have been crazy. Now, not only would your son be involved, you have to do it would have been terrible. Sweetheart, yes, like Rosie said, you don't know why you were gifted with this child. Not everybody is able to have children. And you don't know what blessing this child is going to be to you. If you are okay, Masa, take this child, be there for the child and do whatever it is that you need to do. And if by all means you can get the guy to also support you, by all means, let him support you. But have the life and have a fresh start. You can always have a fresh start. So don't give up. Don't go back into this relationship, because I feel it's toxic. I feel there's no point. And the parents need to deal with their own mess, because now it's times two. Right. They're brothers. And you don't know what the other brother is also going to be doing to somebody else's children. So rather tell the parents that they need to sort this thing out, forget about this whole deliverance, and do something about their children. Even the parents need therapy, because it's bad. This cycle can't continue, because there are too many lives to be affected here.
Right.
Yeah? So, but definitely don't stay in the marriage.
Yeah, not to belabor the point. Sure. Go ahead.
Before you come in, I just wanted to state that when it comes to sexuality, somebody can be bisexual and exhibit symptoms like this. It's not only for gay people. Because Gail made mention of the fact that if you're bisexual, you're with a man one time, you're with a woman another time. The whole agenda of sticking to one person has to do with faithfulness. If you are faithful to your partner, you don't cheat on your partner. But the fact that you are bi, or the fact that you are bi doesn't mean that if you want to cheat on your partner, you can cheat on your partner with only girls. Then that's what makes you straight. So that's why I said I didn't want to tackle the sexuality bit.
Right. I
wanted to tackle the cheating bit, and the fact that it was with the sibling. You understand?
Yeah.
But because there are so many people bisexual, so the fact that the woman didn't feel less loved by him, it means that he probably doesn't really have a problem being with women too.
Right.
But he probably just wants to have a taste of men too. You understand? That's what needs to be corrected. And this is where the true test of their love will stand. Like Olivia said, in her case, this man valued the marriage that he had, the woman that he had, so much so that it was enough to push him to stop that other agenda. You understand? So maybe if the value that he places on the wife is so high, maybe he'll go for proper therapy this time around, and hopefully things will be corrected. But the parents' influence, we should look at it very well, because if the parents know this, it didn't come as a surprise to them and they are begging not to tell anybody, they should be the first people to be mad and decide to send the children for further deliverance or for more counseling or for more psychotherapy. But if they are saying it's a hash, then it creates the impression like they have dealt with it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a sad bit for me.
Okay, I'll go straight into messages because we have quite a few coming through. Posh says, leave them. They just accepted your marriage so that the world will not notice what their sons have been doing. That's wickedness. Frank says, unborn child. They're there and be thinking about the unborn child. God has exposed him for you to flee, and you're thinking about the unborn child? My sister, it's a very difficult situation, but if I were you, dear, I'll leave this marriage. I can't stay with someone who has been gay his entire life. Your shoulders are too fragile to carry this cross. Doreen says, I believe you haven't told your parents yet. You haven't told your parents yet because his mom is pleading with you. But do you know your husband and his brother can kill you? Please leave the house for some time. Think through things. If you really want to stay because of perhaps your baby, or just decide to call for a divorce. I wish you all the best, says Doreen. Foster says, my dear, stay. Focus on how to help him get over the act. It's not easy, but for the sake of your marriage vows and the unborn child, go through this thick cloud with him, and he will forever be grateful to you. Benedicta says, if you love your unborn child, flee before your husband starts sleeping with him too when you give birth. Limba says, unborn child becomes the issue now in such a situation. But for me, I'll advise you to leave the marriage and not stay. But for your unborn child, if you think you can take care of both of you before finding another man, then that's okay. God led you to such a revelation because he loves you. So do not sit to partake in curses. Bright says, what? Sex with his own brother? I mean, we all have skeletons, but this is absurd. I'm in total shock. This situation isn't salvageable. There's an unborn child involved, so think carefully whether you want your child to grow up in such an environment and take a final decision. Joe says, I think you should leave. If he can do this with his younger brother, he can do it to his children. You will never be able to leave your kids with him and have peace of mind. Fatuk says his family was very much aware, and it was wickedness on their side for not letting you know when you were getting married. They knew that he used to do this with his brother and still allowed the brother to stay in the same house with him. This is not marriage. Brown says, how sure are you that it's only the brother that he sleeps with? This is difficult. Even if the brother leaves the house, there'll always be the unsettling thought at the back of your mind that he may be doing it with his friends. You both need to go for counseling. I'll read a few more. Godwin says, my dear, even if you leave him, you can never forget about this, which means you'll forever be hurt, mostly when you remember the course of your broken marriage, or whenever your little child who's unborn misbehaves. The only advice to you is to stay by him, be his monitor, go for continuous counseling, and above all, prayers. But that's if, and I repeat, if he's willing to change. And finally, Mercy says, leave right away. Would the parents have allowed him to stay with you if you were the one doing that? A man who shamelessly sleeps with his own brother can even sleep with his son. Then those are a few of your messages. Thank you so much for watching Sister Sister on your favorite Citi TV. Now don't forget, if you want some more exciting content, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We call it the Citi Tube. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications for fresh updates.
Sister Sister, every Friday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.